Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. It's June 6, 2025. We're very glad you're with us this morning. Please note this event is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Career USA YouTube channel to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. This group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader landed a job. In 2008, I started careerdfw.org to help those unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I launched careerusa.org to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search That You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or I have copies with me. And since 2017, I've been a member of the practice interview team. We'd like to see everybody's smiling faces out there. So if your camera is not on, please turn it on so we can see. And please make sure that your full name is visible. There's a James out there, and we only see your last name. So if people want to try to connect with you, give us, please, you can edit your name by just highlighting the 3 dots by your name and put your full name in there. All right, our agenda this morning, we'll start out with success stories. We'll see if we have any job leads from any recruiters online. We'll then let everybody do the 30-second introductions. We'll do those here in the room first, and then have everybody online give their introductions. Then we'll hear from the Interview Success Workshop, the practice interview team, career tip of the week, and then our main event today, open forum, we'll start that around the top of the hour. Well, we like to start the meeting off with any good news. Do we have any landings to report? Going once, going twice, landings? All right. Well, we'd like for everybody on Zoom now, if you will open up your chat window and put in your position, put in your name, the position you're looking for. Give us your email address, your LinkedIn address if you've got it, phone number, city you're watching from. Give us 2 or 3 target companies, and then companies where you have connections that you may be able to help somebody else. We'll get this chat out to everybody this afternoon. And I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock. All right, please feel free to continue typing away. All right, we'd like to, everybody in the room here, if you want, come step up to the microphone and or the laptop and let everybody do their 30-second introductions. Come on down.
Jason Iris is a true New Yorker.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Michael Garber. I'm looking for a position as an IT program and project manager in the IT infrastructure space. No new target companies this week. I have contacts at Kyndryl if anybody needs an introduction, and my name is Michael Garber.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Paul Husar. That's H-U-S-A-R. I'm a director of technical support or customer service, and I don't know who's looking for me this week, but if they've got a call center, please help them find me. I can help with contacts at LG. I'm Paul Husar.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brett Vaughn. I am a technical project manager. I'm looking for opportunities at American Airlines or Toyota. I have contacts at Citigroup and Dell Technologies. Again, my name is Brett Vaughn.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Martha Montgomery, and I am looking for a position as a manager of customer success, customer engagement. I'm looking for a contact at 3DR Labs or any medical vendor like GE or Siemens. I have contacts at Hologic. Again, my name is Martha Montgomery.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is David Turner. I'm a HR systems analyst, soon to be professional scrum master. I don't have any target companies this week. I have contacts at PepsiCo. My name is David Turner.
Good morning. My name is Tim Farrell. I'm an electrical design verification engineer. I write software programs to verify the functionality of circuits before the money is spent to commit them to silicon. This week I applied for work at Bell Helicopter and Aero Electronics. And I'd also really like to go to work for any large American defense contractor. I have contacts at Raytheon. Once again, my name is Tim Farrell.
Thank you.
Good morning and happy Friday. My name is Sarah Hoyle, and I am a mortgage lending financial analyst / fraud investigator. I need a contact at Supreme Lending, if any of y'all know anyone. Unfortunately, I don't have any contacts, but I'm glad not glad we're here, but glad we're here. So anyway, my name is Sarah Hoyle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Dara Patel. I'm looking for roles in product management such as product owner, business analyst, product support analyst. This week, I need contacts at Bank of America, US Bank, Lockheed Martin. And I have contacts at Co-America and any other telecom companies. Again, my name is Dara Patel.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Valisa Madden. I help companies understand and comply with applicable laws and regulations, and that's why I'm looking for a role as a director of internal controls or process improvement or audit. And I'm looking for contacts at Baker Tilly, Whitley Penn, USAA, Bank of America, Citi. I'll put more in the chat. And I have contacts at AT&T, Grant Thornton. Again, my name is Valisa Madden.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tammy Woody. I'm looking for roles in supply chain management, Lean Six Sigma procurement, and I don't have any current target companies or any connections. And again, my name is Tammy Woody.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jama Ball. I'm looking for roles as Director of VP of Operations in service delivery or product implementation. I need contacts at Salesforce and Paycom. I have contacts in the hospitality industry. My name is Jama Ball.
Hi, I'm Chris Paulson. I'm a senior software engineer, C#, SQL Server. I need contacts at Capital One. I have contacts at Toyota. My name's Chris Paulson.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Brett Blue. I am looking for project management in technology, healthcare, or education. I have contacts with a company called iPeople and Louisville Independent School District. Again, my name is Brett Blue. Blue like the color.
Anybody else in here? All right, let's go online. Okay, let's go Kevin Nelson.
My name's Kevin Nelson. I'm an industrial engineer and veteran. I have expertise in saving the company money and conducting projects that improve efficiency. I also have expertise in the planning, scheduling, buying, and inventory control. And my name is Kevin Nelson.
Thank you. Lewis.
Good morning. I'm Louis Gruber. I'm the event guy. I'm looking for titles that begin with event, meeting, or trade show and end with coordinator, director, manager, or planner, as well as account management and sales support. I need contacts at CVent, Shepard, Expositions, Merritt's, Gartner, or Freeman. I have contacts at a very much a wide variety of companies. So if you connect with me, please see if I have a contact there. Again, my name is Louis Gruber, the event guy.
Thank you. Don Champlin.
Good morning. I'm Don Champlin. I'm an IT consulting advisor. I bridge gaps between business and technology by putting them on the same page and building successes in over 3,000 different corporations in my career, saving billions of dollars. I'm Don Champlin.
Thank you. James Sandler. Hello, James. All right, Jason Irish.
He posted he was on his way with bagels.
Oh, okay. Well, in fact, here he's walking in right now. All right.
He's a true New Yorker.
All right. Let's see. Joshua Young. Listening only. All right, Kathy Dixon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kathy Dixon. I'm a senior technical writer with extensive experience documenting hardware, application, and system software, including APIs and processes and procedures. Because of my broad industry experience, I'm adaptable to many companies. All industries and companies need good technical communicators, and that's me, Kathy Dixon, senior tech writer.
Thank you. Kevin Nelson.
I've already gone.
Oh, you went. All right. Thank you. Christy Grant Coleman.
There we go. Good morning, everyone. I'm Christy Grant Coleman. I am looking for Director of Learning and Management positions. I need contacts at still TI. I got to thank you, everybody, for doing that. It's wonderful when you share contacts. Once again, my name is Christy Grant Coleman.
Thank you. Michael Madden. Well, Michael was there. Now he's gone. All right. Nope. Nicole Duncan.
Nikki Duncan. I'm looking for chief of staff roles at remote first companies. Mission minded is my first choice, but I can go pretty much anywhere. I have contacts all kinds of places. I don't even know where they're all at. So ping me if you need me.
Thank you. Randall Christopher.
Hi, my name is Randall Christopher. I'm looking for a logistics audit position in the technology or telecom industry. My target companies are Honeywell and T-Systems. I have contacts at Samsung Electronics America. Again, my name is Randall Christopher.
Thank you. Rosina.
Sorry about that, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host. I'll be back with you in a few minutes. But I'm looking for a position as a senior talent acquisition partner or senior recruiter. And I need contacts at USAA, TIAA, T-Mobile, and ADP, Wilson RPO, and Hudson RPO. And I have contacts across a variety of industries. So as I hear them, I'll reach out to you directly. And again, my name is Rosina Gallman, Senior Talent Acquisition Partner or Senior Recruiter position. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Let's see here. Scott Alexander.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Alexander. I'm looking for software development management, product ownership, project management, Scrum Master across an enterprise application system. I have limited contacts at AT&T where my career's been. And once again, my name is Scott Alexander.
Thank you. Steve Rohan.
Good morning. My name is Steve Rowan. I'm a retired .NET developer that contacts at Fiserv and GM Financial. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you. Steve Sulkin.
Morning, I'm Steven Sulkin. I'm a Director of Operations Excellence, and I help people work together better as an organizational psychologist and Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. I'm looking for contacts at Concentra, Community Hospital Corporation, or Memorial Hermann, and I can help with contacts at Baylor Scott and White. I'm Steven Sulkin.
Thank you, Verlissa. Oh, you're here. Oh, you're here and online. Okay. Anybody else on who I missed?
Michael Wilk.
Go ahead.
I'm Sean Toy, a supply chain director looking for my next opportunity. I transform and optimize global supply chains while minimizing working capital. Target companies this week are Sunrise Medical in Nashville, Tennessee, and ACD Consulting, which is under the Aero Parts Group. So looking for contacts there. I do have contacts, a lot of contacts at Alcon Laboratories, as well as some at Medtronic. My name is Sean Toy.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. Did I miss anybody else online?
Michael Wilk.
All right, go, Michael.
Good morning. I am Michael Wilk. I'm looking for a position as a senior quality engineer, quality lead, or quality manager. I have extensive experience in aerospace and defense, ensuring process compliance, quality product development, and customer satisfaction. I'm a veteran with top secret clearance, remembering D-Day today. I am Michael Wilk.
Thank you very much. All right, a couple more people here in the room.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Steve Stanton. I'm looking, excuse me. Good morning. I'm Steve Stanton. I'm looking for a community bank that needs someone one level below the sea level to help turn things around, run operations. I have contacts in Hong Kong and some New York banks. And I'm looking for contacts at community banks looking to turn themselves around. Thanks. My name is Steve Stanton. Thank you.
Good morning and happy Friday. My name is Jason Irish, and I guess I'm a Yaka or something. I don't know what that means, but whatever Michael was telling that I am. I'm not the one that's late to the office. I'm the one that brought breakfast for those that are here. I'm a financial services professional, working my way through some final steps and eventually licensing to become a financial advisor, working with Thrivent Financial at the moment, hopefully landing soon. And I do have contacts there, as well as at Fidelity Investments, Schwab, several other financial services companies. And connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm an avid networker. My name is Jason Irish.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Belzil. So I'm looking for a director level role of product management. So I'm looking for contacts at AWS, Amazon Web Services, Keurig Dr. Pepper, PepsiCo, or Toyota. So I have contacts at Walmart, Epsilon, and Circana. So happy to connect, help anyone. My name is Mike Belzil.
Great. All right. I think we've gotten everybody. Thank you. Turn that off. Okay. I don't see any recruiters online. So we'll skip that part. Let's go to Walt Glass and the Interview Success Workshop. Good morning, Walt.
Good morning. And not only are we in memory of D-Day, there's another D in today. Does anybody know what it is? National Donut Day. We should celebrate. Okay. So I'll have some donuts at home. They were left over from Friday's pit crew. But the ones I brought, because I brought them, I tried to bring example donuts to show others how to bring donuts into the meeting. So that was the purpose. So good morning to everyone that's online. It's good to have you online today. My name is Walt Glass. And what do? I am an interview success coach. In your job search, on chapter 75 of all the things you got to do on your job search, one of the things about job search is a benchmark when you learn that there's nothing else I've learned that I've got to do. Because for a long time you say, oh, well, I got to do this and I got to do this. And it keeps going on. Well, why interviewing? Why do I choose interviewing? It's because that's where the rubber meets the road. You can do all your work on your resume, do all your work on LinkedIn, do all your network, everything. But then when you sit down and you've got an interview with somebody, this is the critical point. So have you heard that the best qualified person doesn't necessarily get the job? I'm hearing nods behind me. Well, then who does? If it's not the best qualified. So qualifications generally get us in the door, right? And at that point in time, everybody that's in the interview can probably do the job. So what's the difference? And so when I screwed up an interview so bad, there are not enough letters in the alphabet to give it a grade, I decided I better do something about that. I had hired a lot of people, thought it was cool. I could sit on that side of the desk just like I could. I've interviewed a lot of people. I know how to do that. And well, I flunked. It was terrible. So I developed a model called I Am, I Do, I Help. And it means if we can sell ourselves, because it's a selling situation, and we can sell who we are, what we do, our knowledge, skills, expertise, experience, and combine that to here's how I can help you. Everything we do in life has a purpose. Every action, okay? And so same thing in the job. So when I look at resumes, I see a lot of I do. Well, it's I did, but it's the I do category. So where's the I help side? So in the interview, how do we learn how to do that? Well, I offer a free interview success workshop. Okay. Actually, it's $2,000, but I'm giving 100% discount this week. So if you would like to sign up for that, look at my LinkedIn page, Walt Glass, and the About section talks all about the workshop. All right. What's the difference between this and other interviews? It's informal. It is not a mock interview. It's a learning interview. It's a come as you are party. Do you need to prepare? No. Come in where you are. Let me help you understand how we can sell those three things, how we can demonstrate it, how we can be authentic, how we can show interest and enthusiasm about the job and the company. Those are the difference makers. So who got hired? Jared got hired at Lockheed. He said, you weren't the best candidate, but you knew more about the company than anyone. Well, he was the best candidate, or they wouldn't have hired him, right? And what about Brian? He said, you're the only one that showed any results in your interview. And what about Fred? Fred was hired and he said, you're the only one that showed any enthusiasm and interest in the job in the company. Those are the differentiators. So it has to be authentic and genuine. So I will help you with that. Be glad to do that. My Yahoo email address is on my LinkedIn banner. You might want to consider putting yours on yours so you can be reached easily. You don't have to have a connection to reach me. My phone number is also there, so you can reach me, and I will register you. Right now, I'm waitlisting people. I do it usually on Tuesdays from 9 to 11 on Zoom. I actually did 3 workshops this week, plus an interview at Picture. I'm a panelist there, so I interviewed a lot of people this past week. Be glad to interview you too as well. So come join us. Very informal, no preparation. All you have to do is send me an email and say, I'd like to get on the wait list, and I'll let you know when things are coming up. And I'm still trying to schedule some extra workshops as well, just so there's not too many long waits. I did have one person I called and said, hey, you're up. He said, oh, I got a job. I said, okay, you're out. So if you get a job, that's okay. Call it learning without squirming. That's the key. We may as well have some fun while we're learning this. It doesn't have to be stressful. So tomorrow, I start my vacation. So I make this proclamation. If you get a job, if while I'm gone you get a job and your presents for me you rob, then send a note for joyous celebration. I am Walt Glass.
Thank you. Jamie. All right, let's hear about the practice interview team. Good morning, Jama.
Good morning, everybody.
Get up there and get
on TV. Gotta get on TV. Hi, everybody. I'd like to just spend a few minutes talking to you about the Dallas Pit Crew. PIT stands for the Practice Interview Team. How many of you in the room were at Pit Crew this week? Yes, terrific. So we had almost 40 people, Jeff, in person. So we practice. So as Walt said, resume gets you in the door, interview gets you the job, and there's no safer place to do it than with the Dallas Pit Crew. Please join us every Wednesday, except for the fourth Wednesday, where that is dedicated to Zoom. We typically have 2 or 3 practice interviews. If you're not a candidate, we'd like you to come and observe actively so you can learn some tips. How many of you haven't interviewed in a long time? A long time. Besides your practice interview. Okay. And I know I'm one of them. It's been a number of years since I've interviewed. I took Walt's course, and by the way, I fully endorse it. It was a humbling experience, just FYI. But we'd love for you to come and practice your interview here. The gift of the Pit Crew is the immediate and direct feedback. It's a 40-minute interview and 20 minutes of direct feedback, not only from panelists, volunteer panelists who spend 2 to 4 hours preparing to represent the company you're targeting, but also from those observers. You don't need a real job interview that's already on the docket for you to come and practice. An ideal or aspirational job description and your resume is all you need. Please email it to the dallaspitcrew.com. You'll see that, I'm sorry, dallaspitcrew@gmail.com, which is right there at the bottom of the card that's on the screen. Email Ron Layton, our leader, and he'll be happy to put you in the queue. We're booking about 3 weeks out. First come, first scheduled. So please join us for the Dallas Pit Crew. Thanks, Jeff.
Great. Thank you very, very much. All right. And with that, okay, it's time for the career tip of the week. Good morning, Rosina.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. All right. Well, kind of piggybacking off of some of the things I've already heard is going to be this week's tip of the week. So, why can't I get a job? 20 ways to get hired when being brilliant and qualified isn't enough. Now, the URL for this particular article, this article is by a group called Thrive Herd. And so this particular article, the URL, it takes you to the article, but it seems like, I don't know, it seems like the article jumps around a little bit on the internet and repeats sections and things like that. So I just want to share that up front so that you're not surprised. And then also that you don't blame me for that. All right. So when a job search is proving difficult, even for brilliant and qualified people, it often indicates a need to rethink your strategy. The traditional approach of simply applying to numerous jobs based on descriptions isn't enough in a competitive market. Instead, the focus should shift to stacking the odds in your favor and standing out from the crowd. This article has been analyzed and identified 20 distinct ways to get hired in tough times, even when being brilliant and qualified isn't enough. So first, you want to play the savvy numbers game. Focus on stacking the odds in your favor for each application, rather than simply sending out a high volume of generic applications. This reduces your effective competition. Second, you want to stop focusing on the job description exclusively. While important for keywords, understand that in a competitive market, merely matching the job description isn't enough to stand out. Third, do more of what works. Instead of dwelling on rejections, analyze applications that receive positive responses, like interviews and initial screenings, and replicate those successful strategies. Fourth, spit and polish your CV or resume. SPIT acronym, S, send and save correctly. So that's your format and your file name. P, professional presentation. That's your layout, fonts, language, and proofreading. I, for impact, that proves your value to the reader. And then T, tailored. Uses of your keywords demonstrates value for this role or the organization. So fifth, chase politically. Follow up politely if you haven't heard back within a couple of weeks. Don't assume that silence means rejection. Sixth, prepare better for interviews. So prepare yourself and prepare your subject matter. Prepare yourself. Address confidence issues, practice mindfulness, get enough sleep, maintain a consistent online presence, and dress professionally. And then prepare your subject matter. Research the role and employer, review the application, know your skills and strengths, practice your branding pitches to convey your value. 7, accept this challenge. Commit to implementing all recommended steps. Challenge yourself to do things that feel uncomfortable but are beneficial, such as networking or self-promotion. 8, recalibrate your search. If your current field is too competitive, identify transferable skills and consider pivoting to a less competitive industry or taking a stopgap role. 9th, knock on the back door. That's a speculative application. So do extensive homework on the organization, conduct informational interviews, polish your online presence, tailor your CV or resume and cover letter to communicate your value, and then promise and execute follow-up. Number 10, take a break. Acknowledge the difficulty of job searching and allow yourself time to recharge when feeling overwhelmed to maintain resilience. 11, equip yourself to succeed mentally and physically. And that you can do by addressing your underlying issues like stress, anxiety, lack of self-esteem, poor sleep, diet, or exercise that might be hindering your job search. Consider professional help, such as a coach or a therapist. 12, keep your LinkedIn standards high. Ensure your LinkedIn profile is consistent, professional, error-free, and accurately represents your professional self. 13, eliminate instant CV or resume fails by using spelling or grammar checks. Maintain a professional layout with minimal colors. Avoid photographs if sending in the UK style or CV. Add personal content to templates and ensure consistency. Address work history gaps positively, and avoid generic cover letter phrasing. Number 14, get specific. Prioritize quality over quantity in applications by tailoring your resume and cover letter to each specific role and demonstrating your unique value. 15, less thinking, more doing. Expand your job search beyond just applying. Network, engage with industry influencers, volunteer, temp if you have to, blog, gain new qualifications, or offer freelance services. 15, get awkward. Embrace discomfort by doing things outside your comfort zone that will benefit your job search, such as networking or actively promoting your achievements. 17, schedule your search. Implied from later mentions and common job search advice, you want to structure your job search activities to ensure consistency and prevent burnout. 18, leave no stone unturned. Implied by the comprehensive nature of the advice, be thorough and explore all possible avenues for finding and securing a job. 19, know your goals. Have clear objectives for your job search to guide your efforts and ensure you're pursuing roles that align with your aspirations. And 20, convey your proof of value. Continually emphasize and demonstrate the specific value you can bring to an employer through your application materials and interviews. This comprehensive approach emphasizes a shift from passive application to an active, strategic, and self-aware job search. It highlights that being brilliant and qualified is just the starting point. True success comes from deliberate actions and a commitment to continuous improvement in your job search methodology. Again, this is this week's tip of the week called Why Can't I Get a Job? 20 Ways to Get Hired When Brilliant and Qualified Isn't Enough. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody.
Rosanna, thank you very, very much. All right, today for lunch, come join us today, 11:45. We're gonna go to Mama's Pizza, 2130 West Parker Road. It's on Parker, about a half block west from Custer. They've got a pizza buffet, pasta, and a big salad bar, and my favorite, the hot cinnamon rolls. You get them when they just come out. They bring out a hot tray. That's when you pick one up. So come join us today at 11:45. All right, if you want to receive today's materials, you'll get a link to the YouTube that I post on Career USA later this afternoon. You'll get a copy of the career tip of the week that Rosina just posted. You'll get a copy of the Zoom chat. If you want to do that, please make sure that you've signed in on the roster that's back there. You can just check off you're here. And for those people who knew, please fill out the little slip of paper. And if it's legible, you will be added to the contact information this afternoon. For everybody online, if you want to get this information, to have your email address in the chat window. So please do that so I can update it. I know I had a couple people last week that put in their name, but that's all there was. So there was no way for me to go. And I go to your LinkedIn profile because they listed a LinkedIn, but they have no contact information in their LinkedIn. So why are you on LinkedIn if you don't want to be contacted? So be sure go check your LinkedIn profile, make sure your phone number and email address is there. All right, it's time for our main event. We're going to just, let's see here. We're going to do main event today was just open forum. We'll talk about it, whatever it is you want to talk about. For those here in the room, just make sure you get the microphone before you start talking so everybody can hear. And I'm going to stop sharing so we can see everybody who's out there.
Micro man.
And
I'm ready.
So whoever has a question, who wants to get us started? First question for the day.
I have a question.
Okay.
A lot of times they tell us and I agree, one of the most important things is culture. And Walt recently did a presentation on how to identify the culture of a company. I have identified the culture of a potential company by watching almost 4 hours worth of videos that the CEO of the company did. And it sounds like it's too good to be true. So my question is, when you have an interview with the corporate recruiter, what other kinds of questions do you want to ask besides culture? Thanks.
Comments from anybody? Here we go.
That was Kathy, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Can somebody run down, or is that Jenny isn't back?
What? Yeah.
Yes, it was Kathy.
Hey, Kathy, this is Dara. I've stopped asking the culture questions a long time ago.
Okay, well, I don't need to ask the culture question. That was my point.
Yes. So instead of that, I've been asking, how do you incorporate feedback or how do you provide feedback?
Okay, I already know the answer to that question.
I thought you were asking,
made it perfectly clear.
I thought you were asking about what other questions to ask them.
I did. What else besides how do you incorporate feedback?
I have a couple I can offer.
Thank you, Christy.
If you're interested. I just had an interview and I actually had a list of like 10 questions I asked them, and actually none of them were about feedback. I asked what were the top 3 priorities of the role? What challenges exist for the role? Like, are they limited resources, other kinds of support? So what kind of challenges do they face? I knew the answer to this, but it's always a question. Why is the position open? What happened to the person who formerly held the position? And I'll give you one more. I have a whole list, but I won't go through all of them because I'm sure other folks have them. I asked, what would success look like for this person, for this role? If they were to be successful at the end of 3 months or 6 months, what would that look like?
Thank you, Christy.
You're welcome.
Okay, this interview is with the corporate recruiter and it's only 30 minutes, I expect to ask the questions that you presented, which I appreciate, to the hiring manager or to ask during the hiring manager interview or the peer interview. Don't you think?
Why would you hold those back from the corporate recruiter? Are you assuming they don't know?
Yes.
So my person knew. She was a recruiter, but she knew. Now she may have been closer to the position than maybe a corporate recruiter was, because she recruits for that function. But she knew the answer to all of those, to her limited ability, right?
Kathy, I had an interview with a recruiter for a company and I asked, who owns the final decision making and how does that process work?
You mean for the
And
hiring?
I'm sorry, what was that?
You mean who owns the final decision on hiring?
Nope, just in the company. Who owns the final decision making?
Okay.
And how does that process work? And for the person once in the company, the person I interviewed with for the role, not the recruiter, once I got past the recruiter, I asked, when's the last time someone changed your mind on a key decision? Which tells me a little bit about what their ego might be like and kind of digs deeper into, how things work. And kind of looking like, what does success look like in this role? I could also ask, what would make you question whether or not I was the right fit within my first 60 days?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just confirming, these are questions to ask the recruiter?
Yes, the corporate recruiter.
Okay.
It's a 30-minute interview, so there's not a lot of time. I
Okay.
don't.
From the Dallas Pit Crew LinkedIn, there's a post that Ron created that gives you all the questions. Here are the 3 for the recruiter. Why was this role created? For the next round with a hiring manager, what are some things that I should bring up that will impress him or her? What will this recruiting process look like from start to finish? How many interviews can I expect and what interview types should I be prepared for? Phone, virtual, panel? It's a very practical kind of questions, but it's a great post. Go to the Dallas Pit Crew group on LinkedIn, and he posted like in the last week. So that'll give you a whole range of questions that you could choose from.
Thank you.
This is Walton. I might add, if you're familiar with the 13 videos that are out there, you can go to Jeff's and go to the dallaspitcrew.com. You can see links to the 13 videos. One of those is the first session deals with recruiters and questions for recruiters, period. And then there's a whole session just on questions. So Mark McDonald and I put those together when COVID came along and Jeff asked us to do that. But there's a good session, I think, out there. I mean, I would suggest we do a recruiter due diligence. Any question that says, how long you been working here? What do you know about the company? What do you know about the people? What do you know about process? We've already mentioned some of those questions. Those are specific recruiter questions. And it makes a big difference if they've been working there 5 years or 3 months, for example.
Well, this recruiter has been there 6 months. I researched him on LinkedIn.
Okay, well, you wanted to know questions, and this is what I'm suggesting as a resource for you to take a look at those questions.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, what else can we talk about today?
Hey, Jeff, real quick, one more thing for Kathy. So Kathy, I know you attend Patricia Romboletti's session on Thursday nights. And don't forget that she on her LinkedIn has the Recruiter 101 resource where it's verbiage to interact with the recruiters along with interview questions in that document. And it's either on her LinkedIn page or it's on her website, but it's a downloadable resource.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I have a question, Jeff.
Yeah,
for
go ahead.
I know we've constantly been challenged to network. Like when you apply for a job, if you're interested in a job, look for contacts, whether they're recruiters or somebody that works at the company. And I, have done all of that. What I find is when I reach out to people, when I cold call them on LinkedIn, if I can't find the recruiter, I try to find someone in the company. The only time I have gotten a response has been when it's somebody I know. When and I've been given contacts, I'm so grateful to all the networking groups when you ask for contacts and they give them to you, but I have yet to get a response from anyone. And, I know maybe I should hit them up a couple of times, but any suggestions about that?
Suggestions, anyone?
I can give a suggestion. When I'm doing recruiters or when I'm my contacts that I'm networked with, these are people that I know if I'm going to be recommended or sent it forward, they're going to call the guy ahead of time and say, expect a phone call from Don Champlin about this job that's open within the organization. That is something that just to give out a name without precluding that with that or if I'm giving that, then the person that I'm giving already knows that if they mention that my name, they're going to know that I'm recommending this guy or this person for the job. So I think that's an important thing whenever you do. Get people that will recommend you in your initial contacts, and then you can build that network as it broadens out.
Yeah,
to
that
get
works.
down to
You've got, thank you, Don. I know you've always got great ideas. And that works when you know someone, right? I'm really talking about those times when, like, I've met people at the networking groups, and when I reach out and they, like it, even here, when we ask for contacts, say if you gave me a contact, well, I know you would call, you would make it more formal.
yeah.
But I don't know that everybody else will do that. I've gotten contacts from people, they say, hey, I worked with this person there. I'll reach out to them and let them know that you're looking, and I'm not looking for anybody to recommend me. All I want is a recruiter or someone that can talk about the company or get me close to someone that might be, a hiring manager recruiting for that role. So it's truly a cold call. I don't know, but the people that are that are referring me don't necessarily know me. They know I'm in the Plano Focus Group or the South Lake Focus Group, but that's
yeah. Well, cold calls are a challenge, but again, whenever I'm doing that, I even if I get a contact like that with one of the people I'm talking to, if I've known them from inside, I say, well, how well do you know this person? And if I've mentioned your name that you suggested I give them a call, uh, do they know you well enough to know that I'm being recommended to contact you and that sort of thing? So that's a good thing. Then you know how to handle that call coming in.
Yeah, I would echo what Don's saying. The leads qualify the lead as kind of, what level of warm lead, or if it's true out of the blue cold. The one nice thing about this group, I'm sure you guys feel this way, is like-minded people that want to help other people, not just themselves. And so building it, having connections through these groups are good because, like-minded people tend to attract like-minded people. So I would say a warm lead from a group like this is probably going to be better than just one from the cold. If you have zero connection, if there's another affinity group, either, alumni or, some other background common. And then worst case, a lot of companies offer referral bonuses. It's easy money for some people to refer, candidates. They get paid. So if you land, so just food for thought.
And I also, whenever you leave a voicemail with somebody, I would always say, be sure to let them know that you're going to call, you didn't, sorry, we didn't connect today. I will call you back Tuesday at 3 o'clock, and you call them Tuesday at 3 o'clock so that they know you're going to be calling again. And if you don't get them then, you tell them, sorry, I missed you. Hey, I'll try you Thursday at 11 o'clock in the morning, and you do it then. Until they get a restraining order, just keep trying to call them.
I think there are a lot of great ways to warm up a cold call. If I'm sharing one of my contacts with someone, I'll send an introduction. I won't just send you out there to call someone. If someone's referring you to their contact and they know them well, ask for that introduction so that you've got that warm connection. I've also sent out connections addressing things like, "Hey, I saw you used to live in Seattle. I lived there too. One of the best places I ever lived." Just there's so many different connections that you might be able to find a personal connection in the profile. Mentioning that instead of just sticking to business might open the door.
And Christy, I understand where you're coming from. I'm very much a person that will do a connection to somebody. But what I will say is if it's in LinkedIn, you probably know this already, but if you do it on LinkedIn, chances are they say on average about 45% of people have an account but never really use it, look at it, touch it. So when I connect somebody through LinkedIn, unless like Don does a phone call, I might do an email to the person saying, "Hey, be looking for a message from Christy," if I know them so well. Otherwise, I do the LinkedIn intro, and 50% of people I'll see, they respond to it. The other 50% doesn't. And I've had people say, "Well, can you do it again?" Sure, but if they didn't respond on LinkedIn, chances are they just really don't use their account. So so don't get disappointed. I know what you're going. Just know that keep trying. I hear the persistence on here. Jeff's right. Keep trying. Don't give up until they pretty much put that restraining order on you.
This is Walt. That's some great suggestions. So I want to summarize and add a couple elements. Warming up the call is really an important key factor in helping that. So number one, how do they know them? What is the relationship between you and that person? So how well do they know them? Is that? Would you introduce me to that person? Or would you like send an email and say, "Hi, this is Walt. He's interested in this," whatever it is. I'm introducing him to you. Take it away, Walt, that kind of thing. So to get an introduction, find out what their phone number is. Don't have to worry about looking it up. Do they know what the phone number is or the email address so that you can get that kind of information? But warming up, that's the kind of the summary of warming up the call. If you can get people that really want to help you to give you that kind of information, you say, "Well, I was talking to Paul. Paul, Paul, you both lived in Seattle." I mean, whatever it is, that something that's you've got to just you don't make it really a cold call is the whole idea.
Yeah, and also if you can find if they were on LinkedIn and you can look at if they posted any articles, you can, say, I wanted to talk about something, that you posted. That's another way in. Or else, here we go.
I just wanted to add something to that about, if you reach out to somebody on LinkedIn and they don't respond. I'm just going to give a real life example for me. I've been reaching out to a friend of a friend, told me that, got me into a company, but they're not in like the right functional area, so I asked them to find someone. And so they did. They gave me the person's name. I sent them a thing on LinkedIn, like you say, warming it up, saying, "Hey, our mutual friend said blah, blah." Crickets, nothing. And I reached back out to my friend and said, "Hey, I reached out," and they said, "Do you know if they read it?" I said, "I don't know." Anyway, time passed, and then literally like 6 o'clock this morning, they responded to me on LinkedIn saying they had lost their phone and they couldn't remember their LinkedIn password. So they were like, "Sorry for the delayed response," and so now they replied and I have their cell phone number. So like he said, if there's no restraining order, just keep trying.
And also remember this, if you're reaching out to somebody who's never been unemployed, they don't get what we're going through. And I was invited to talk at North Texas, at University of North Texas a couple of years ago. And to my right, I had a guy who's been working for 30 years who'd never been employed. And on my left, I had a college professor who's never been unemployed. And this was all about unemployment. there's some people, and someday they will be here, but right now, just know that, if you don't be offended by that.
Oh. Okay.
Who had the mic? I saw the mic go someplace. Go ahead.
Good morning. It's Jenny Holcomb, and Walt also said to put in a punch that look at their last job, how long they had been there, and then you can get some information based on that as well. My question is about tracking and making sure I'm organized, because I love to have proof that I've been doing what I said I've been doing. I'm this close on the Computer Minds PMP program. So I know they're going to ask for my information. Remind me where the tool is or the tools are for a simplistic tracking method of the contacts that I've reached out to. I, have my calendar, but how can I track simply my contacts, et cetera, across the board? Because I just need that for my mental sanity and clarity.
What are the people using?
Like an Excel format.
Well, first, do you know you can download all of your LinkedIn contacts who you've connected with? Are you aware of that?
Yep. And that it downloads into Excel, Jenny. And it gives you all the when you connected with them. It's got a lot of information. It parses it all out and use that as a simple way to check stuff out. Yep, their name, well, if you have 4,016 contacts, you'll have a fourth, yeah. Then it'll parse it out, but it'll parse out the information, name, title, and it's their current name, title, email address. And if you've been smart and you've been messaging, right, with people, then it'll also give you the information. So you'll remember, like I'll say, hey, Jenny, great to meet you at Pit Crew. It'll be in there. So I'll remember. Unfortunately for the 500 that I just went, accept, I got nothing. Try that as a quick, but there's lots of other ways to do it, but that's a quick, easy. Yep.
Kathy Dixon said, I use a Word document with columns, no number crunching, so no need for an Excel doc. Kathy, would you be willing to post it so we could see it?
Sure.
Okay, I mean, if you just want to add it in the chat here, we'll copy it down and then people can try it.
Whether you use Excel or Word, go out to the Career USA YouTube channel and look up the presentation by J.R. Better, and he tells you what goes in column 1, column 2, column 3, et cetera. And he's got like 3 different spreadsheets and how you put all that together. So whether you use a table in Word, I like tables in Word sometimes because I don't have to mess with stuff in Excel.
Amen, brother.
You're better on Career USA. Is it where you said, Walt? I don't have a good answer for Jenny's question, but kind of follow up to Jama's comment about the LinkedIn. Even if you do connect with somebody on LinkedIn without getting a message from them or whatever, I've found that even after connecting with, I just go ahead and connect with them. I say, hey, great connecting with you. If I don't remember them, I'll say, I don't remember where I connected with you. I put up kind of a little message and ask them where we connected. But at least it kind of starts that conversation and then maybe it goes from there. Just a good idea that way you at least have kind of documentation of how you've tried to connect with them or how you can figure out how you connected with them.
And to add to that, your message stream stays with you. So if you do make any kind of comment, which that would be a good one, when you go back to that person, which I've done to connect somebody, going, now, I know who this person is. Where did we meet? So I can say, oh, I haven't seen you in so. My message stream should tell me. So that's a really good suggestion, that after you connect with somebody, mentioning, hey, I really glad we connected on the Career DFW, site. Let's stay connected. That way you'll know.
This is Dara. So whenever I send the connections request. I know a lot of people don't know that when you're sending the connection requests using the phone or mobile app, you can actually personalize the invite and say, hey, nice to meet you at South Lake Focus Group, or it was nice to meet you yesterday at the Plano Church, or something like that. So when we talk later in the future, we know where we met them. And I also wanted to bring up a couple of things about rejection. So we talked about how we warm up or how we reach out, but then we do reach out to a lot of people on LinkedIn, and there's 2 or 3 points that I wanted to bring up. Like just this morning, a lady sent me a connection request, and I see that that could be a prospective place I could be working at or looking for a new opportunity at. And I asked her, hey, since you have already added me, thank you for sending me the connection request. Can you refer me at your bank? And she's like, well, I only refer people I know. And then the other one was, they literally tell you, hey, don't contact me on LinkedIn anymore. And so those are a couple ways of being rejected, even when we reach out to them on LinkedIn. And then another point is that when we introduce people we know to our connections, I would usually, and I've learned this from this group, so I would first reach out to them saying, hey, I have a friend who would like to work at your organization, and I would like to introduce you guys so that you can talk it out and see if it works out for them. If they see the message and they don't reply, that means they are not interested in helping anyone, or usually they would come back and say, oh, I don't want to refer, or something like that. So rejections are pretty quick. Like they either see the message, don't respond, or they either respond saying, hey, I'm not interested.
I'd like to make one point about connection requests. I know a lot of times people on here, because they can't figure out how to do it on the phone or whatever, just hit the button and expect us to remember, oh, I met them. Most of the time I'll recognize a name or a face. But what you don't realize, and some people don't, is if you see the connection request, if you hit see all, you can respond to that person asking them, hey, I see that you have asked to connect with me. Can you remind me where we met? My biggest thing is if the person doesn't respond back to you, in my profession, in the events world, a lot of times they're trying to fish into my network. So they're just like, hey, I'm going to try to get into his network. I hit the connect button. And if you respond back to me, I'm going to say, oh, that's right. We met at, on Friday at the Career DFW event. Great. So don't forget, you can respond back to the person if you truly want to find out how you met them. If not, if you're not interested, yeah, you can hit the ignore button and say, I don't know, and move along. But that's something a lot of people don't know, that feature exists.
Dara, thank you for pointing out something very important. No's are important to us too. I believe it was the great Don Zimmer before his retirement used to talk to us, and he said, when someone gets a no, thank them for that no, because for every, what was it, 2 no's, it takes 2 no's to get to your next yes. So move through the no's quickly and get to your yes. Also, I just reached out to someone I met through a networking group, only to find that we met years ago and we had that record in the message communication in LinkedIn, and we had some really great conversations about scouting and other things, so I was able to relate to that message and reconnect with this person.
All right. Do we have another topic we want to talk about?
How about interview questions, since Walter's in the room, especially since I have an interview today? When the interview is over, I know we've discussed this, I know you talk about it a lot. How many questions do you think you'll have time to ask them if it wasn't already answered in an interview? Especially if it's like the first one, because you may getting like a Zoom screen from the executive secretary who will pass it on to the hiring team? Just curious.
Okay, first of all, there's two types of questions when the interview is over. Well, is it really over or not? There's a point in time when they generally will ask us if we have any questions. They're turning the interview over to us. We are now in charge, okay? But the interview is over. You can't ask more questions to get into discussion and talking about it because, they look at their watch and say, you got any questions for us? And they're like, so I suggest that we not ask more questions about the job and all that sort of thing, but I definitely suggest we ask what I call the closing questions. So if you want me to talk about that for a minute, I will. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that worked.
Yeah, there's some definite questions we ask, next steps, trial close, et cetera. I have 6 steps in a close in the workshop.
Can you get into it quickly here?
Yes. When you're in charge, what's the deal? We rarely close the sale. We say, thank you for taking the time to talk with me today. I look forward to hearing from you soon. And then I throw up. Okay. Huh? That's not going to get an offer, right? So show interest, summarize value, trial close, whole process for the hiring and updating, next steps, and farewell. Okay. So a trial close question is, do you see me fitting into this role? Depending on how much you have determined they want you, depends on the stronger closing question or comment, okay? All the way up to, well, everything's looked great so far. We've talked about our salary of this, and so I'll come to work for 110. We get started Monday. What do you think? Now, that's happened, and people have stopped their interview process and hired that person. All right. But that's only when the scenario when it's, A1, top of the line, everything's great. But we want to kind of get a judge for them. So we say on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you see me fitting into this role? Try to get a number from them. Now, the rule is they don't tell us anything. We tell them everything. Legal has got it all tied up, and you just can't say anything. But we can gauge reactions, even if it's on Zoom. Okay. To gauge reactions to that. And there's no risk in asking these questions. They're not going to hire us because we asked the question. All right. There's a message with the question. The message is, I want to be the ideal candidate. I want to be on number 10. I want to be that person. So the message is going to be more important than the answer, which is why we also ask that question. All right. Next steps. Next steps has 5 elements. Well, I hear back from someone as a result of this interview. Who will it be? Okay, Paul, if I'll hear from you, when should I expect to hear back from you? All right. And then if I don't hear back from you on that date, I'll call you on the next day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. All right. We're in charge of our job search. So many people say, I don't know when to call them back. And I said, well, ask. It's okay. Ask them when and you're still on their agenda. Who would I call if I have questions? Right? So you want to still keep in touch with them and do that. So there's several steps in there. So there's a few of the questions that we ask during the close, and they're not discussion questions. They're informational questions to get information, not to have a discussion about anything. And do not say, is there anything else I need to say to you to convince you that I need this, that I want this job or anything? No, it's over. Don't just stay away from those kind of questions. Okay. Do you see me as the best qualified candidate? Yes. Do you think they're going to hire you from that? We don't know. Just don't ask. You don't get any information based on the answer to that. I'm going to stop now because I talk too much.
The question I always like to ask is, how do I compare to the ideal candidate?
Right.
Not to the other candidates. You don't care about the other candidates.
I'll do that.
How do I compare to the ideal candidate?
Thank you, Jeff and Walt.
And yes, thank you. Just one other thing that I want to know, is this a question to ask in closure, which is, I think, in your packet. Are there any skills or areas that we haven't fully addressed, which might prevent me from being a top candidate, or if you're in the final, from being hired?
I suggest no, because they've covered everything already that they want to know. They've already asked all those questions. When they turn it over to us, there's no more questions on their side. We don't need to ask them if there's more questions they haven't asked. So I suggest not using that.
And it,
Go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
well, I was going to say, it is important at the end of the conversation to sort of summarize how you got started in the conversation by, I understand at the beginning you said you need somebody who can do X, Y, and Z. And as I've shown, I've done X, Y, and Z, and just briefly mention a couple things to emphasize what they wanted, what they're looking for, and how you can fill the bill. And remember, you're there to solve a problem. And it's okay to say, I'm a problem solver. I'm here to fix help you fix your problem.
You're right, Jeff. There's another element in the close that's not a question, and that is a summary of the value you bring. It's the answer to the question why you should hire me. We've discussed today that you need somebody that can help you do A, do B, do C, as results, as the area. So we're telling them, this is what I can do for you. This is why you should hire me.
Well, then what about is there anything you need to clarify or elaborate that I haven't said that, something like to that effect? Is that again something that, well, you should have already covered it. You don't need to. Well,
I'm gonna infer the fact that you asked that question and that you're concerned about doing that, and you have a legitimate concern. And no, I would not ask that question.
well, I'm always concerned, but I always respect your opinion because you're good at what you do. That's why, knowing I've asked it in the past, but hadn't had a interview in a little bit, thought I would ask today to throw it out there. So thank you for your thoughts
There's
today.
1,000 other people that have interviewing suggestions as well. And so these are just mine.
I've always told Walt he needs to sell his services where you can have a little earphone in. So when you're in an interview, Walt can be listening and prepping you with things to say during an interview. But
I have an interview this afternoon and I would like to sign up for that service, please.
Yeah, I'll tell you, don't answer that. Call a lawyer.
I actually have a question for Walt. This interview that I have scheduled this afternoon, when I had the phone screen, the gentleman that I was speaking for had a level of enthusiasm that I was not prepared for. And on the one hand, it was very edifying. And on the other hand, I have been struggling about how to mentally prepare, because this is the statement I'm bringing to you that I need a little guidance. He said, I don't want you to think about this as an interview. I want you to come over to the location when all of the other staff members will be available so I can introduce you. And
The question is,
said, oh, okay. I mean, that's all I could think of to respond to, because when someone says, I don't want you to think of this as an interview, I want to make sure that I can introduce you to everybody.
that's a great sign. It's a real positive sign. Says I want to kind of have you checked out by the rest of the staff, right? And so maybe in lieu of a team interview, I don't know, I'll bet you they'll be asking you questions in that, like a team interview, going through that process. So here's your mindset. Do you love this company? Do you love this job? If you have that mindset, then you will act, look, and talk that way. All right. And so that's the key. So when you get in there, hey, it's great to meet these people. It's great to talk to you. What would you like to know? What can I help? What are your challenges and situations? What can I help you? So you ask them all in that room, what can I do for you? You know that nobody asks that question in an interview. It's very, very rare. So now you've got all these people, and they probably got 8 or 9 things, if you go across and say, oh, they're all interested in you helping them with, okay? And when you show interest, ask them and say, well, tell me about you. How'd you come here? Get them to talk a little bit in part of the process too, all right? But you got to stay on their agenda. But it's going to be a group welcoming, introduction, get to know each other. How does it look? Whatever it might be. And you find out what their concerns are as well. So enjoy it. Have a good time.
I really appreciate it, Walt. And I may have shared previously with the folks in this group, I went from my first 4 weeks of unemployment after I lost my job in January. I was getting a lot of responses to my applications, and then everything went silent. And it's 40 days in the desert, or more than 40 days, of not hearing back, of being ghosted, of being told that 200 other people applied for the job and they just couldn't get around to me. And so to have this kind of response at this point feels very humanizing to me because this has been very, very difficult for me. And to go that long with just no bites whatsoever when I'm doing my best, when I'm doing my hardest work. So I am so grateful for all the support and information from this group. I will take what you said to heart, Walt, and I will go in there today with that attitude, because I'm interested in landing, and even though this may involve taking a lower salary than I was hoping for, I need to move out of the space that I'm in. So thank you so much. And would you be insulted if people called you Obi Walt Kenobi?
I'm not that old, so it would bother me. Use their name when you're introduced to each one. So nice to meet you, Fred. Nice to meet you, Sarah. Nice to meet you. Okay. Use their name when you greet them and talk to them. Okay. That's the beginning of a connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah, our names are the most important words for us. You can be in a crowded room, and if somebody says your name, your reticular activating system in your brain will let that through. So use their names. It's very positive.
Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. I'm so grateful.
I'd like to say something to you, and it's really directed towards everyone. I have only met great people here. So please remember, you're a great person and you deserve this. Keep that in mind, internalize it. It will help significantly. The second thing that I haven't heard in a long time is about mirroring. If someone's talking to you and they're excited and they're engaged and looking forward to things, mirror their approach. That will give you a stronger connection without them even realizing it. The same goes with someone who's reserved. If they're kind of reserved, you can mirror what they're doing, even down to mirroring their physical movements. They won't realize it, but you will establish a connection with them just by that action.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I believe in that very, very much. That's one of the skills that I play up when I'm speaking with folks. I say, I know how to read a room. I'm a person that you want at your side when you're trying to negotiate, interacting with a bunch of different people with different styles of responses and different communication styles. So I really appreciate you saying that. I appreciate everyone's support.
Well, I was just going to mirror Paul's style, but while he was holding the microphone, his middle finger was protruding. So, did you want to talk?
Yes, I had a slightly different topic, kind of more of a public service announcement. Sure, you guys during your search have found, kind of the fraudsters, people reaching out to you with bogus jobs or whatever. And just from my perspective, it seems like they're getting more sophisticated. So I've had groups, this kind of topexecutivesearch.com and other groups like that are coming with more directed outreach. Checked online and seems like they're borderline fraudsters. So just a watch out that, the fraudsters are becoming more sophisticated, and to, do your research. And if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So.
And whoever that was in the room, let me add to that. everybody's probably gotten this, but lately I've been getting, because I posted something for everyone to see. I get these wonderful looking people who will make comments on my post, and I go, oh wow. And then I go and look at their profile, and oh wow, they've done a lot or whatever. But if you dig deep, they'll have hardly any connections or none listed. There's a lot of stuff going on their profile. Their picture, if you look into it, goes, that doesn't look right. So most of the time, what is recommended to do is to send LinkedIn, it's a fraud, it's a scam profile, and then delete the comment off your post and then block. Do those kind of things, because years ago, LinkedIn was ignoring all of that, but AI has created so much they're trying to keep up. So just be vigilant. To add to that, be vigilant and who you connect with, and if your comments on your post are not what you want, and it's somebody that's fake or whatever it is, get rid of it, because it's only going to make it worse. Because I'm noticing with mine, I'm getting a lot more of those, and I'm having to do what I need to do with it.
You mentioned another thing about getting shut down. If you're ever just applying online, that's a 2% return. So everybody in the room that believes that she should turn more time to networking, raise your hand. How many people online? Okay, we all vote for moving more towards networking time than applying time. One more.
Just a
Thank you.
general comment overall. Don't fall into the trap whenever you're talking of not being yourself. You need to project yourself so that they get to know who you are. So don't fake a response or that sort of thing. If you're a helper, I like what Walt says, how can I help you? What are the challenges whenever you're talking to somebody that maybe is lower down in the organization, but will be working for you or be working along beside you? And that helps 100% in selling yourself to the corporation.
Well, how can I help you is also a great question to ask the people you'll be reporting to. They're not hiring you because they need another seat in a butt in a seat. They're hiring you because they got something for you to do. They want you to help them. So I think, how can I help you is a question that goes to all levels.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Here.
Yeah. So actually, that's why I asked for the mic at the time. That's a perfect segue. That was a question I wanted to ask, like in terms of time management, balancing between networking and applying, because I suppose networking is great, but the goal is obviously to land somewhere. So, I guess, how do you land if you're not applying, right? So how do we figure out that balance, I guess, is my question. What have other people been doing?
Well, I think the key to that is go ahead. Got a couple hands up here.
Well, I was thinking there's not, I mean, at least for me, there's not in the, how do you call that? Like an infinite amount of postings that I can apply. So I usually don't really apply like for anything and everything. So it gives me time to network, because every morning I just check if there's something. I will go ahead and prepare my report and everything, I mean, my resume and stuff. So it's really, I don't really spend that much time applying just randomly. I have another question that is, I know. Yeah, do you have another answer?
So since I'm open to a lot of roles, a lot of positions under different titles, I kind of find it difficult to balance the time between applying and networking. So what I've been doing is that in the daytime, I network, and in the nighttime after dinner or after I put my kid to sleep, I find like 4 to 5 best positions under one title. So I end up applying for like 20 different positions for all of the titles that I'm aiming for in the night. I apply in the night. And in the daytime, I just kind of like, whenever I'm browsing, I have like 5 minutes, I'm browsing, I would choose those roles on LinkedIn, on Indeed, and I would just email them to myself And that way I remember that, okay, since I've emailed this to myself, I'm supposed to apply for this one in the night.
9 to 5, Monday through Friday, should be out networking.
Can I ask I've heard different things. I'm keen to hear what this group thinks. I pay for LinkedIn Premium and I see the hundreds or thousands of numbers of applications that go to jobs. How important is it if you can find a time to get within the first 2 or 3 hours of a posting versus applying 36 hours later? Like, how much does that improve your odds?
It goes from 2% to 2.4%. It does make a difference because a lot of people are Monday morning, they'll look out and grab things. All right. So there's other answers here.
I think the sooner the better. If a job's been reposted in this environment, it's probably a ghost job. I mean, if it's been reposted by a major company, it's probably just out there either on hold or they're fishing to get candidates, backlog of candidates. I mean, especially in this day and age where every job gets hundreds of posts. So I don't even bother with a reposted job. So I only look at the ones that are like a day or 2 days old, number one. Number two, in terms of networking versus just applying. The networking is getting to Walt's earlier point, there was it 2 to 5% for, a success rate for cold applying. I mean, that's just the reality. So the networking is going to help you identify which are the ones you should be posting, to get that success rate a little bit higher. Because, you'll know through networking, is it a real job? Yes or no? And secondly, some people can maybe help navigate you through the process, get you past that ATS gate, and into the interview process, because that's the biggest hurdle. So just food for thought.
I have to preview this answer with a warning. The words you're about to hear are from someone who actually got a job by applying online before. I think it depends on the company. They have different approaches to their recruiting and different ways to process the applications they do get in. Some of them will take the first 10 that look like they qualify, and then they're done looking. I like to reverse the cycle and start looking at the applications in the morning, but I'm just a morning guy anyway. So at 5:30 a.m., I'm looking at the past postings for the past 24 hours every day, get through that, and then I can spend the rest of my day talking to people who are live.
There are people that talk to the dead, So here's my suggestion. Should we talk to people on Mondays?
No,
Why?
catching up from the week.
Monday morning meetings, I mean, how about Fridays? No, we're trying to get out of Dodge on Friday. All right. So when do we talk? Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Nights, weekends is the time to do other stuff that you're doing that's not involved, with people. So you want to maximize that time on Tuesday. That's just my suggestion. What else?
I just want to add to the application, whatever, if you see it on LinkedIn, yes, go. If you want to apply for it, fine. But remember, always go to the company website and apply on the company website, because sometimes they don't even look at the LinkedIn applications. And I was told this by an HR person inside the company. I said, then why do you post it? Because we're required to put it on all the avenues. That's whatever our boss says. So remember, if you like the position enough, I like the idea of doing the stuff in the evening, by the way, but if you like the position enough, see if it's listed on their company website. And if it is, go through that, because that's really where they're pulling their information while you do all your network.
I think that's great advice. I want to go back to what Don said about being yourself. I read an article, and I don't know where it was. It might have been LinkedIn, that said 63% of executives lied to get their job. And now they are having to live that lie every single day. I don't know about y'all, but that sounds like a really high stress life to me. And being an executive is stressful enough on its own.
How do they get 63 executives to admit they lie?
I don't know. That's a great question. But
that article did not refer to resources.
Yes, that's right. But you got to be yourself And if you're not a good fit, you don't want to be there anyway.
Right.
How do I know?
So I asked the tracking information earlier, but this is a reminder that I got from our women's group the other night about taking care of yourself. Your tracking is extremely important, but you are more important than that tracking. If you are honoring yourself, make sure you're getting enough sleep. If you need caffeine in the morning, good for you. I am one of those people. But making sure that you are taking care of yourself and the priorities you consider important, because that will creep up on you and feed negativity. So from the woman who has positivity as her number one, make sure you take care of yourself. And it's okay to take a break in your 9 to 5 and in your evening 6 to 9, et cetera. But get your rest, because that's when you recharge, and be kind to yourself. Don't let you say negative words to yourself that you would not say to a fellow networker.
Steve just link in the chat window, which everybody will get. It says from CNBC, nearly 40% of hiring managers say they lied during job interviews.
Okay, I saw one that said 63%. So there must be lots of these articles out there. But I want to add to, I don't know who was just speaking. Maybe it was Jamma. Have fun. You need to schedule some fun time in. Otherwise, you're not going to do well in the interviews. You got to laugh.
That's why I say have fun in the interview. Make that fun.
Exactly.
Interview. Enjoy meeting the people. Enjoy talking about the job. You know, why not have some fun during that process?
Right.
I want to comment.
A new
Go
question.
ahead.
Okay. Tim Farrell, my question is, LinkedIn connection policy. Is it better to have a restrictive policy or just wanting to connect with as many people as you can? My philosophy is I'm an engineer. I want to just connect mostly with engineers and with people I really admire. A lot of people, I've heard that that's wrong, and I'd like to get the opinion of the group, if I may.
Okay. What are people's opinions?
Oh, we're going to take a vote. All think it's wrong. Okay. All think it's right. Everybody thinks it's wrong.
I will connect with people who have less than 500 because I want to help them get their 500. So that's my exception to connecting to everybody.
Oh, I'm going to shift the conversation just a little bit. I don't know if you all go to job fairs. I had this mindset that they were mostly for like people who were interested in, hourly truck drivers, warehouse folks. And there was a job fair I went to a few weeks ago and I almost didn't go, right? I kept thinking, it's going to be truck drivers and, warehouse people. But I went anyway. And it was really a good thing I did, because it was a lot of truck drivers and warehouse people. But every company that was there that I was interested in, I walked up to their table, I introduced myself and said, I'm looking for learning and development positions. And I was surprised at how many people, even though they were not interviewing for that, they were recruiters. So they either knew of a recruiter in their company that might have been interviewing for that. And I ended up getting interviews out of both of those, right? And, so for anybody that thinks job fairs aren't worth it, my recent experience says, just go. And even if it is truck drivers and warehouse people, go up and talk to the recruiters about what you're interested in, because they will connect with you.
You might want to consider truck drivers. We need a lot.
Definitely go if it's your target company, for goodness sakes, guys.
Yeah, I want to echo the comment just made about the job fairs. I've been doing job fairs off and on and had similar concerns. But you recruiters, there aren't just recruiters for, part-time hourly positions. They're just recruiters that meet all the needs. And so the more recruiters you meet, it's somebody on the inside of the company that can help you navigate if you know no one else. Or there's a hiring manager, typically, though, if it's not a recruiter, it's a hiring manager of some sort that's going to be at it. It's somebody on the inside. And so that's worth it. If it's one of your target companies, even if it's in a weird forum, it's still valuable.
And when you go up to them, just don't say you're looking for a job. I say we used to have a gentleman here, and he used to teach when you go to a job fair, you go up to a recruiter and say, "Can I tell you a story? Can I tell you about a time that I saved the company X from doing this? This is what I love to do. Do you have a position? Would it be something like this in your company that I could do that for, or a contact that I could talk to?" Because you're trying to get contacts. That's the key.
I take my dog to dog park and I make connections over there. So I just throw myself out there. I've been introvert in the past, but I'm opening up more and more, learning to speak more. My husband tells me I talk a lot, and I'm like, I just throw myself out there, and now the whole dog park knows I'm looking for work and I'm making connections over there.
You never know where you're going to make that next.
You know, I've been thinking about getting a dog and doing that.
Hey, Walt, is it rude to take notes during a Zoom interview, or should you ask, can I take notes?
Everybody for asking. Everybody thinks it's rude. Asking.
Thank you.
It agrees with me, so it must be right.
Okay, in the very back.
Somebody got to talk to me out loud and say, "Hey, well, can't see everybody." I'm in training.
All right. So I was actually going to ask if it was rude to do it in person. The same question, because it is rude.
No.
Oh, no, it's not. Okay. I have an interview, and I wanted to follow up. Someone was asking about interviewing with a lot more than one person. I just got an invitation for an interview in person with 5 people, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm nervous, but but I was wondering like if I can take notes in front of them.
So let me ask you this question. You're the interviewer. What do you think about the candidate who asked permission to take notes? Is that positive or negative or neutral?
Positive.
Everybody says that's positive. Now, what you don't want to do is put that notes on their desk or in their property. You don't want to put it in your lap, okay? Because if you start getting onto their territory, they don't like that.
Kind of to your point, in an interview, the interviewer is almost always taking notes on you. So it should be kind of like a convey, but it is a good idea to ask, I think, just to get the.
Well, and I know the interviews I've done for the pit crew, when a candidate takes notes, I respect that person more because they're being diligent. If they're just sitting there listening to everything, I'm going, well, are you really paying attention? I mean, do you really want this job? I respect the person that does takes notes during an interview.
Please go to the pit crew. Go through the panel interview. There are only 3 of us, but we can certainly act like 5 if you want.
Yeah, if you want more than 3, ask Ron and we'll get 8 or 9 lined up.
Yeah, the biggie, the thing, the one hint I had panel interview with 6 different people, is across the top of my notepad, I made sure I put, if I didn't have their business cards to sit out in order, I would write their names down in order so that I knew that person 2 was Susan and person 5 was Joe, and so I could mention their names during the interview and had it written down. That was very helpful for me.
So this is something I tried. It's, like any free advice, right? But when it was multiple people, so I prepared my questions ahead of time. So if I knew I was meeting with marketing, because then how am I going to remember all of you and what we talked about? And I feel like in real life, if they hire you, won't you take notes in meetings? Like that's just normal human behavior. So
When we meet with our customers, don't we take notes of what they're saying?
This is Jama, not Jenny, because she's taller than me. I have to tell you a funny story. And it was a job I landed. I got an interview request for a company. I was in hospitality for so many years, like, customer first. And it was the Federation of State Medical Boards, which is regulation first. I thought, okay, I'll just do a practice interview. I got over there. There were 8 people in that room. Now, those of you in the room, those of you who know me online, know that I'm not even 5 feet tall. And they put me at a conference table at the head of the conference table, where when I pulled up my chair, I could literally scoop food from the table to my mouth. So I looked at the table quickly. I moved back my chair way back. So, it wasn't like my stature wasn't, really evident. Then I excused myself, went to the bathroom and did Amy Cuddy's power pose. You all know what that is. And then came back and I nailed that interview. And well, I thought I nailed it. Well, I'm not sure I nailed it. Anyways, I did eventually because I got the job. Then they had the C-suite come and interview me. All of these men were like 6'4", 6'5" at the same table. And I'm like, okay, they're not going to hire me because they can see me so small, right? So in hospitality, you learn, and a person my size, I used to run front desk in hotels that are 2-story lobbies. So I know how to project. I don't really need my, so I had to make myself, well, it was my natural self. That's who I am, bigger than life. I got that job, but note to self, don't sit really close to the table where they think they're talking to a child. That's why I'm talking to you, because you and I are the same height.
For those of us who know Jama, we know her whole body is a weapon.
All right. Somebody else want to start a topic?
Okay, we got one here. Tammy.
Hi, I'm Tammy. So I was in the military for 20 years, retired, and I thought I was going to be a housewife. About 6 months into it, I realized I'm not about that life. So I went back to school. I just finished my master's last month. So I am looking for a job. So this is my first real job. I had 2 interviews for 2 different positions with Raytheon, which is like the feed in from military, right? I did not get the job. One of them actually went blank in the interview. My dog was barking. It was raining. They couldn't hear the dog because he was in the master bedroom with the door shut, with the bathroom door shut inside the closet, but I could hear it. So it was bad. So I'm just trying to figure out what path do I do? Because someone told me at an organization to take an entry-level position. Recommended job was transportation clerk. And I just feel like even though I do have a gap in employment, I have been volunteering with multiple organizations for the last 5 years. Help, please.
Call. Just a couple thoughts. First of all, congratulations, Tammy. It's very impressive. You mentioned, hey, first time you get a real job. If you were a veteran, 20 years, it's like you've had very real jobs. So don't discount that. So, they're hiring based off of skills and competencies, and through your military service, you have that in spades. And so as don't sell yourself short on that. Yeah, I know sometimes it's hard to do the translation, but just if you look at it from a lens of skills and competencies, you'll find that you're qualified for a lot. And so just one suggestion. And then just you figure out, what that mix of skills, competencies you're looking for, and then focus less on kind of, the title and use that to help find the dream jobs that are there for you. So.
And I would also say, reach out to other past military people who are in the corporate world now, because they're going to understand the point of, the focus of, this is my mission. This is what I'm trying to do. Because for 20 years you were on a mission. I mean, that's what you were assigned to do. And non-military people tend not to get that message of,
So there's a connection being made.
We're gonna hand up over here.
Yes. The question about Raytheon brought one to mind. I've got an application into Raytheon, and there's a similar job at Collins. They're two different jobs, two different locations, but they're both through the Raytheon corporate. Do I go ahead and apply?
Always, it can't hurt. Apply always apply wherever you can.
I had a question for Jeff, Jema, or Walt. Do we have have we had any sessions in the past about having an imposter syndrome? Because like how Mike said, don't sell yourself short. And I think I have imposter syndrome, and I feel like I'm not qualified enough. There's always more qualified candidates out there. I don't know if I'm going to be accepted. They're asking for 10 years of experience, and I only have 6 years of experience or something like that. So I think a session addressed towards imposter syndrome would be really helpful. I think I can. I can try.
Not to my knowledge. I haven't seen anything on that
That
or
topic
anything
hadn't
like that.
come up,
All right.
yeah.
So one of the things that the workshop tries to do is to help us gain confidence in ourselves. Okay. And so there's some preparation piece of that. There's some practice piece of that. And with that, and with the help of a lot of people like, that are also looking for jobs, that will help you gain that confidence, I think.
I would say, Dara, this is Mike. The imposter syndrome is real, I think, for everybody, just in differing forms. We all deal with it. And I've struggled with it as well. I think, I think if you're close in this day and age, just given how tough the market is, if you are a fairly close match and it's an interesting job for you, don't hold yourself back. I think I've been guilty of that in the past, where it's like, oh, I don't meet, all the requirements, therefore a waste of time. I don't know that that's the case. And then it seems to be further bolstered at 40 to 60% of people are lying about then that tells you that, job descriptions are really more guidelines than they are. I mean, some companies obviously more than others, but if you're a close match and it's an interesting job to you, go for it. I've been trying to do that more myself. I'm guilty of it as well. So
Yeah, you got to remember a lot of times big companies just pull job descriptions out of a book going, this is the pay level we're trying to fill, and we'll throw this out there and see what happens. That's why a really important question is when you get the interview with the hiring manager, what are the most important things you need me to accomplish? Because it may not necessarily be what's in the job description.
Okay. I just want to talk very briefly on imposter syndrome. Almost everybody's faking. I mean, everyone who's a parent, you have no idea what the heck you're doing, and the kids surprise you and they outsmart you and they're 5. I mean, nobody knows what's going on. Everyone's faking. But when you talk to people in a professional environment or even in a social environment, they try to steer the conversation at what they're experts at. The little narrow area of expertise, whether it's in marketing or coding or whatever, they really focus on that. And you judge yourself against them based on their ability to do that. You heard the examples, like you can't judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree. I mean, you're awesome, and you just have to be able to kind of politely, tactfully, find ways to leverage your strengths in the interview and the other things. And when you get to the job, you're going to have to do 20 things in the actual job, and 1 or 2 of them will be a challenge, but some of them you'll be great. And the other people who did the job before you can't do those things as well as you can.
And you can learn.
Remember Jared's example. He got in because of his company knowledge, not because he had all the knowledge and skills for that job. But his energy and passion for the company was so high, they said he will take care of that, in this particular role. So, and job descriptions, some people would look at them and say, I don't cover all of them. If this is your target company, is this the kind where you want to get a job? Then you go interview, okay? And we show them who we are, what we do, how we help. Do you want that? And you just go after it that way.
All right, we'll get a couple more comments here and then we'll finish up.
Sorry, last comment I'd make about the imposter syndrome is, the job descriptions tend to be very broad and expansive. And, to Stephen's point about finding where you add the most value, where you're kind of the differentiator, that I think is the key. The challenge is finding out, where is that pain point that you're going to uniquely help solve, because I think that's going to help differentiate you. Because if you just go in as a generic problem solver, you're not going to stand out from the pack. So it's throwing your hat in the ring and then finding that unique area for your value proposition where I'm really good at this and this is where you need help. And the last thing is that modern business especially, it's a team sport, right? I mean, nobody's solving problems by themselves. It's like everyone's working in a team environment. So you can't be expected to be great at everything. I mean, you're filling a role player on a team. You're the, basketball analogy, you're the 3-point shooter, or you're the, the point guard, or you're the, the whatever that fills that role that makes the team stronger.
One more comment over here and then we'll wrap up.
There are a few stories of people that got the job and then that wasn't the job. The job description was wrong.
That's an important thing because we all have feelings like that at some point in time. And I would say, please find someone to share that with, and someone who knows you and can disabuse you of that idea. If you can't find someone, come see me. By the time I'm done with you, you'll be ready to take over J&J. I'm James Joyce.
All right. Well, I think we had some.
One thing I have to say is that when I interviewed with Circle K, they kept bringing up the convenience store aspects. Convenience store, convenience store, convenience store. And I said, look, at 7-Eleven, I was fuel. I had nothing to do with the convenience store. Oh, that's okay. Well, guess what? That was one of the reasons they canceled my contract, is because I didn't know enough about convenience stores. So even if you bring it up, there's no telling what's going to happen. Y'all have a great weekend.
Right. All right. Well, great conversation today. Next Friday, Dee Robinson will be with us to talk about how to find and negotiate your next great job. Dee gives a really great presentation, so come join us next Friday. On the Career USA YouTube channel, we'll have this video will get posted. Click on playlist when you go there. And then at the bottom, where you see, don't click on the video, but click on where it says view full playlist. And then up will come a list of all the different dates and topics. You can go back and watch any topic that you want at your convenience. Oh yeah, if you're, yes, the very top left-hand corner, interviewing, the 13-point workshop. These are the 13 lessons that Mark McDonald and Walt Glass put together, all about interviewing. These topics go into great details, like 20 hours of information about interviewing. So if you want to go find out just about questions or how to open and close an interview, this is a great way to learn about that.
Yeah, it's a 13-step program.
Well, it wasn't enough. We had to go to 13. All right. Next Tuesday, Career DFW and Career USA, we're going to put on LinkedIn Tuesday. Kurt Vondermatter will be with us talking about LinkedIn from a recruiter's eye. Kurt is a founder and CEO of Link Executive Search, and he'll talk about what he does to try to find you. Practice interview team will be meeting in person next week right here in this room for those who are in Dallas. If you're not able to come and you want to watch something about interviewing, go back and watch one of those interviewing topics that Mark and Walt have on YouTube. And then next Friday, Dee Robinson will be with us, how to find and negotiate your next great job. Upcoming after that, on the 20th, Tony Bashira from Babbage and Associate will be with us to talk about the top 10 big mistakes of resume writing. And then on the 27th, getting referrals, who do you know? So we've got some good things coming up. And then on July 4th, we will not be meeting since July 4th is a Friday. Today for lunch, we're going to go to Mama's Pizza. Be there in about 20 minutes, 2130 West Parker Road on Parker, just west of Custer. How many people here think they're going to go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Right. Whoever gets there first, put some tables together for us. For everybody else, thank you for joining us today. Have a great Friday. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.